Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are gonna do a wrap up of all of September and whatever I missed in August, because I did this wrap up right here or right here that was wrapping up all the books I read from May to August, and I did that towards the end of August, so most of these I read in September, but I thought I would talk about all of them. Let me move over here and I'll put the pictures of the books over here. Good job editing, Alita. I'm going to end before October because hopefully we'll start doing a monthly wrap up every single month. That's the goal. So the first book I read was Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. This one follows this mom whose child was kidnapped, and to be quite honest with you, I gave it 5 stars, but it's kind of forgettable to me. It's been a month since I read it, and I can't really tell you any of the details. Then I went on a Colleen Hoover binge, and I read All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. I read It Ends With Us. I read Confess, and I read Someday Maybe. I think that's what it's called. I will start with Someday Maybe because it's the only one I don't own, so it's the only one. Maybe Someday. It's the only one I didn't like as much. So Maybe Someday follows a deaf musician and Sid. And Sid gets kicked out of her apartment. Well, kinda, because her boyfriend and her best friend are cheating. Like, they're having an affair, even though, yeah. So it was messy. And then she was homeless, so this next door neighbor of hers, who happens to be a deaf musician, lets her move in with him and his roommates. And the problem with this one is that it romanticizes cheating. And I get that cheating happens in real life, but I didn't like the way it went about in the book. Then we're going to talk about Confess. So Confess follows this girl, Auburn, who goes to this art museum, and she starts this relationship with the artist. I don't remember his name. Owen. And this wasn't kind of mediocre romance, to be honest with you, but then there's something that happens at the end that just bumped it from a 2 to a 3 star for me, and it was good. But if I'm gonna reread a Colleen Hoover book, it's going to be one of these. These are both very emotional romances. I mean, I don't really consider these romances, but there is a romance for All Your Perfects, and It Ends With Us. You do follow a couple, so I guess in a way it's a romance, but these are emotionally charged, and I would check the trigger warnings for both of them. I absolutely adored both of them, couldn't put them down. I read All Your Perfects in one night. I read It Ends With Us in one sitting. Then I read Clown in a Cornfield 2, Friendo Lives by Adam Caesar. This one was okay. I gave it 3 stars. I think I originally gave it 4, but I changed it to 3. The first one in the series is better. Clown in a Cornfield, just the regular one. Number 1. This definitely has sequel not amnesia. I don't know what they call it when the next book in the series is just not that good. This one was okay. Okay, then I read A Sweet Mess by J.C. Lee, which is actually the first in the Dating Dare series, because this is number 2. The first one, A Sweet Mess, is like this baking type romance. I mean, it's a fake dating type of romance, but there's baking at the core of it, and I didn't feel the chemistry between the main characters, and I really didn't like the characters, so I only gave that one 2 stars. Then I'm just gonna fast, because I don't want to get any hate. So I read The Lifestyle by Taylor Hahn. It's about this woman, Georgina, who walks in on her husband cheating on her with the secretary. And instead of getting mad or getting divorced or anything like that, she decides to start swinging. When they go, her ex-boyfriend is at the swinging party, and sparks fly, and it was not good. Then I read The Bodyguard by Catherine Center, and I thought this one was okay as well. I gave it 3 stars. But it's like this romance between this guy who is famous, and the paparazzi are stalking him. So he has to hire this bodyguard, but he doesn't want his family to know that he needs a bodyguard. So he hires this little girl this little woman that looks like she could be a kindergarten teacher to protect him. And then they go visit his family's house, and the stalking stuff starts again. It was okay. I didn't really like it that much. A Dog's Journey by W. Bruce Cameron, which is the sequel to A Dog's Purpose, so I can't tell you anything about it. All I can say is it's 5 stars. It was amazing. I cannot believe I waited so long to read it. Then I read Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood, and oh my gosh, this was better than The Love Hypothesis, but it's kind of the same type of romances, so it follows a STEM, it's a STEM relationship, so she's in STEM, he's in STEM. I think they both work at NASA, and they just work in different departments. It's kind of hate to love, and it was just uber cute. Way better. I absolutely loved The Love Hypothesis, but Love on the Brain was even better than The Love Hypothesis. Twice Shy by Sarah Hoggle, which is like this fixer-upper type romance. This woman inherits this house, but what she doesn't know, she only inherited half of it, and this other guy inherited the other half, and they don't really like each other, and through renovating this house and creating this dream resort, they fall in love. I didn't like it. I didn't buy the chemistry. I didn't buy the hate at first either, so. Then I read The Girl from Widow Hills by Megan Miranda. Again, everything by Megan Miranda is kind of forgettable. For some reason I gave it 2 stars, but like I said, kind of forgettable. Donut Fall in Love by Jackie Lu. That one was so cute. I absolutely enjoyed this so much. I gave it 4 stars, but I'm gonna give it 5 stars actually. So this one follows this guy that's gonna be on a baking show because he's a celebrity, and he's gonna go on this competition show, but he doesn't know how to bake. And he has this encounter with this woman who owns her own bakery, and then somehow, they start talking, and he's just could you train me how to do this? And I think he gets 6 lessons, and through those 6 lessons, they fall in love with each other. It was just so cute. Then I read Follow Me by Kathleen Barber, and this is an Instagram thriller about getting all the follows and having a stalker that follows you home, and I enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. I would reread it, even though it's a thriller. It was good. Okay, then I listened to I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. And honestly, okay, so I don't read nonfiction, like, ever. But part of me wanted to rate this 5 stars, like, a big part of me. Because, see, Jennette McCurdy was one of my idols when I was little. Like, I grew up with her and Sam on iCarly and Miranda and Carly. And, like, I thought, because I was a huge fan of the show, that I knew Jennette McCurdy. But sometimes reading those, like, honest memoirs and those memoirs and everything, it makes you think, well, maybe you don't really know that person. You know who they portray on TV or in the movie, but you might not know anything about that said celebrity. And, like, I wasn't going to read this book, but I just picked it up on the whim, and I'm so glad that I did. Like, she struggles with a lot of real life problems, and there were so many, like, honestly, this book is just haunting. It's hauntingly beautiful, and it's so worth it. And, like, I don't know, I feel like I got to know Jennette even more, and that, like, I feel for her. I have so much empathy for her now. Then I read Coven. I gave it 3 stars. I like the artwork, but I didn't really like the story. The Patient by Jasper DeWitt. I own that on Kindle. I'm not going to tell you my thoughts here. Just go check out the Love-Hate Challenge that I did with Heather. I will link it above. Then I read Verity by Colleen Hoover, and this is, like, her only thriller, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But it was so creepy and perfect for this time of year. Actually, I would recommend this any time of year, but generally speaking, I would recommend anything Colleen Hoover writes, or almost anything. And this was amazing. So you follow Lowen, who is going to be the ghostwriter for Verity, because Verity was in an accident. She can no longer finish the very popular series that she was writing, and usually I hate books that follow a author or a writer. Like, it just doesn't vibe with me, but this one was perfection. I gave it 5 stars, if you can tell. But in order to finish that series for Verity, she goes to Verity's home, where Verity, her husband, and her child live, and just things are creepy, and it's gonna get in your mind. Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. So this follows, this is a romance. I mean, it is a romance. Between Dahlia and London is gender binary, non-binary, yes. London is non-binary, and they meet at this cooking competition, and they're actually competing against each other. It's kind of like MasterChef, but for copyright reasons, you cannot say MasterChef, so it's Chef Special. But they go and do these really fun challenges, and, you know, elimination challenges, and oh, it was just so sweet, and I really loved the food aspect of it. I gave it 5 stars. I think I already said that, though. But let's see. Then I read Thank You Next by Andy J. Christopher, and you follow this woman who is always in a relationship with someone, and then right after they break up, the next person that guy dates is the one they marry. And so she's kind of going back to her ex-boyfriends, who are married now, And she's like, well, why didn't it work out with us? But why did it work? You know, I was like right there, and then maybe she finds love somehow. Then Shutter by Laurie Farrow Schullers. I didn't like this one. I gave it 2 stars, and I feel like that was generous 2 stars. Wow, I'm terrible. But you follow this, it's a young adult thriller where you follow this girl who was in Shutter. You follow this girl who opens at like this convenience store, and she follows this guy because he's got like a photographer. He's got a cute face, okay? He's cute. So she takes pictures of him. He's kind of cute and mysterious. And then she finds out that he was on the run because he's trying not to go to jail for something. And then she decides to follow him and like cover for him, even though she doesn't know him. And it just didn't make sense to me. It was stupid. Wow. Then I read Horrid by Katrina Leno. I hated this book. I gave it 1 star. Thank you. Next. Then I read The Maid by Nita Prose. I didn't really like this one either. It's about this maid named Molly, and she goes into this room and one of her clients is dead, and it takes off from there. I found this very lackluster, very boring, didn't love it. Probably gonna unhaul it. Any of the books that I say that I don't like, that I have physically, I'm going to be unhauling on my Pango Books account. IDNF, The Reckless Oath We Made by Bryn Greenwood. I made it like 150 pages in, but no, it was like My Lady every other sentence, and I honestly have no idea what this book is about, even though I read like close to 200 pages. Nope. So, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here, where we're always talking about bookish things.